HBO's classic mob drama The Sopranos is still widely talked about today, even over 10 years after the series finished. In fact, the show's creator David Chase even has a prequel movie coming out which will explore the early days of future mob boss Tony Soprano. In The Sopranos, we follow Tony Soprano from his early days as a captain under mob boss Jackie Aprile. After the death of Aprile and a brief power struggle with his uncle Junior Soprano, Tony becomes the de facto boss of the New Jersey crime family, and the series charts his trials and tribulations both in his mafia family and his personal family, until the infamous ending of the series in which Tony sits down for a meal with his family at a restaurant, and while he, his wife and their son await the arrival of their daughter, Tony looks up at the door and we get the famous cut to black, the very last shot of the series, which is still discussed, analysed and fought over today, with the big question being, what exactly happened? Did Tony die? Now, though it is still heavily debated, many Sopranos fans have acknowledged that Tony must have died in this scene. The final shot of him looking up might just be the last shot of him looking at his daughter, the last thing he sees, right before his brains are blown out by the guy with the members-only jacket who walked past Tony in the same scene. Sopranos creator David Chase has also gone on record calling the ending a death scene, although he did backtrack on that. You can check out more on the ending of The Sopranos in a video I made called Did Tony Die at the End of The Sopranos? But that isn't what we're going to discuss today. This video is for those Sopranos fans who acknowledge that Tony died in the diner. One of the many things discussed by Sopranos fans is, obviously, who did it, but also, what was the fallout? What was his family's reaction? What was the New Jersey family's reaction? Did they retaliate? What would happen to Tony's wife and children? Who would become the boss of the glorified Jersey crew? You could easily make the argument that a movie or even another season could be made about the aftermath of Tony's death. But for those who want this, let me tell you that you've already seen it. And the beauty of it lies in the very structure of the final season of the show. In the very first episode of season 6, Tony is shot by Uncle Junior. In fact, this is the scene the episode ends on. Much like the cut to black ending of the series, the shooting comes out of nowhere and takes us completely by surprise. And in the aftermath of Tony's shooting, with Tony going into a coma, we get to witness all of the things that would have happened had he died. We witness the devastation of his family, especially that of Carmela, as they try to come to terms with Tony dying. We see Tony's son, Anthony Jr., swearing that he will get revenge for his father and then actually attempting to kill Jr. But he fluffs it, and had his father not been connected, he could have been looking at a stretch in prison for attempted murder. We also see something of a power struggle occur in the Jersey family, with there being no real leader amongst those left in Tony's crew, and with the likes of Vito and Bobby, for example, butting heads, and Silvio, the man temporarily in charge in Tony's absence, struggles as boss to keep control of not only the crew but his own health. And of course, by the time we get to Tony's scene in the diner at the end, Silvio is the one in a coma, with very little chance he will ever wake up. But anyway, the reluctance of Paulie and Vito to pay and take care of Carmela, only giving her the cash when Tony starts to show positive signs, shows that, much like the wives of Jackie Aprile and Pussy Bumpensero, Carmela will in fact not be taken care of in the event of Tony's death, and instead completely ignored and left to fend for herself. We see all of the emotions and the reactions from Tony's family and mob family when he dies in the final episode. Ironically, we see it in the events leading up to his death. It's an excellent way for the show to go out at the precise moment of Tony's death from his own point of view, without having to give us episodes of things being wrapped up. Also, while some might feel disappointed or frustrated with the fact that Tony's apparent death comes at the hands of the members-only jacket guy, a complete stranger with no emotional connection to Tony, this is also covered by Tony's earlier shooting in the season, as he is shot, of course, by Uncle Junior, a character who has so much history and emotional connection to Tony. The history is referenced in the shooting itself, with Junior incorrectly labeling Tony as Malanga. Malanga is Pussy Malanga, who is the person Junior wanted to kill in Artie's restaurant, all the way back in the very first episode of The Sopranos. And the beef between Tony and Junior over where to kill Malanga is the very first disagreement the two have in the show, in a long line of disagreements. Tony and Junior have had so many personal moments in the show, like the "Don't you love me" scene, and in spite of all that has happened between them, Tony looks up to Junior as a father figure, which makes the shooting all the more filled with emotional substance. I'd like to give Redditor Pop Culture Toaster the credit for the idea of this video. If you go to his profile, you'll see a brilliant write-up on the structure of the 6th season of The Sopranos. For more videos and related content, consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching.